Hello, hello. Black lace roses here. Oh, Matt's upside down. Doesn't matter. But here's what we're doing today. I'm going to try to go really fast. I timed myself. It took me an hour and a half to make these 3. I'm going to try to do as fast as possible so the video isn't too long. But what I have here is, check my frame, make sure I didn't move my mat. There we go. This one we're going to do first. This is a doily envelope, like this. I'm going to construct it a little bit different because the way I did before, I didn't really care for it. It's a little flimsy. So we're going to make that, but reinforced. Make sure you get a good view of that. So you can decide if you want to watch that. Then the next one we'll do is the lace line envelope. It has a belly band here in the back to stick some stuff in. And that's the inside. It's lace line. Because it has fabric, it's kind of puffy. Kind of cool there. And we'll do that. And then this one is an all fabric envelope. And I did line it with stabilizer, so it is a bit thicker. It's not just like one piece of fabric flopping around. It feels like soft cardstock. So we'll do that one last. And so let's hurry up and get into it. So first, doily. Oh, let me put my hair back. Doily envelope. So what we need for that is a doily, a piece of paper. I've got lace over there for the ribbon, and then we need glue stick and some Elmer's glue I think should be good, and our ink, and we need our paper cutter and some paper so we don't get glue on our mat. So first things first is we are going to glue this puppy down, but I don't want it, I want some of the edge free. See, like this. That way it's not completely covered. I'd like it to have a little bit of movement, and I don't want to have to cut around this whole edge. So here's my easy way I came up with doing that. Let me get a pencil so that you can see. Lead pencil is hard to see. Maybe a gel pen. Yeah, let's get one that works. How about a color pencil? That'd be easier. Let's see. Pink color pencil. Will that show up well? I think so. Let's try pink color pencil. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just, did I just break that? There's enough on there to draw with. So I'm going to generically just trace around this. And that's because when we cut out the paper, when I cut out the paper, I'm going to cut quite a little bit a ways away from this line. This is just so that I get the general shape. I'm going to cut like probably a 1/4 inch in from this edge. And I didn't do this on the first one, and I decided to because it was just too flimsy if there was nothing behind the doily. Doilies are so thin, they're like tissue paper, right? So on this envelope, it's backed here and here, but the front I thought would look pretty, but it's just so thin. I mean, what are you going to put in there? You're gonna, every time you use it, you're going to worry about ripping your envelope. So that's not going to work out. Okay, so there's the line. And so I'm going to cut about this far all the way around. Let's see there. Okay, so while keeping the shape. And probably best to cut this side so I can see the line. Get in there, okay. Maybe wider, maybe closer to between 1/4 and 1/2 inch in on that line. I still haven't made my haul video about the stuff I got from the quilt show. I didn't get that many things, but was hoping to throw it in a video here if I made one short enough, but I'm not very fast crafting on camera. What takes me the longest is making the first one, like the initial thing. And after I figure out how I want it to go, I can, you know, recreate that thing or make different variants of it. And then doing that on camera, you're watching me like think a lot. Like when I was doing the pockets with the little sparkles, that was like way too much thinking to record. I should have the sparkles picked out beforehand just for video purposes. Like if I'm in my room working by myself, like nobody cares how long it takes me to pick out a sparkle, but watching it might be a bit painful. So, and it takes too long on the video. If people want to watch somebody do art or make something, they're kind of like want to get to it. Like, how do you do it? What do you do next? Okay, cool. Thanks for showing me. Okay, so there you go. So we have a, let's try to get it. Alrighty, so there's the general shape. See? Worked out pretty. That way our pocket will be, or our envelope will be pretty stable. So now we're going to glue this bad boy down. The weird thing about gluing doilies is you can't just rub glue all over it and smack it down because there's so many holes. Let's use the other side. There's so many holes, for example. So if I were to rub glue all over this and smack this down, the glue would seep through. You might see it. I don't know. It just could cause some problems. So what I'm going to suggest, if you plan on gluing doilies, is to take this doily here, put glue, like I'm going to use Elmer's glue. I normally would use a stronger glue for most things, but since I'm gluing tissue paper doily to paper, it's going to stick. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to get that junk off there. Let me see if my glue's ready. I've had it laying down. Yeah, good, it was ready. So we're going to use the glue and into the white papers, the white pieces. It might be hard to see because that paper behind it, so I'll put it over here. See, I'm just putting glue on the pieces, not with the holes, so the solid paper pieces, and try to avoid anywhere near the holes. And then because this is Elmer's glue, it has a high water content, and it's not really a big deal. It'll warp paper a little bit, but because this is doily, it's tissue paper-like, it may cause a bit more warping than usual. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a way to kind of avoid that waterlogged paper issue. Okay, so that's that. And then also here, I'm going to put just a little bit of Elmer's, but I'm going to use a glue stick mostly. Because I want a good coverage on the center part. There. This is Elmer's all-purpose glue stick. I have these because, you know, like people giving me, they're like, oh, you craft, use glue here. I bought you some glue. I'm like, oh, right, thanks. And, you know, it's not the best glue, but hey, I'm going to use it. Glue is glue. So if I find a appropriate space to use it, bust out the Elmer's. Okay, so that's center part. And now these pieces, all I'm going to do is kind of smush it down. Oh, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to smush it down just so it's not all concentrated on one spot. I'm just smashing and spreading it. So the glue is touching more spaces, and it's not going to waterlog one specific spot. It'll help it dry a little bit faster too. Elmer's glue is slow to glue. You can tap some around the other little edges. The edges, you see, we're not really touching. So if you did want to do that, don't put your glue bottle in your mouth, children. I do. Okay, here we go. And then, so I'm just going to tap. Glue finger, tap. Glue finger, tap. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to move this because it has quite a bit of glue on it. And we're going to lay this here. Glue side up. And oh man, I got a little bit of glue on it. Working with black paper is a little bit tough because you can't get anything on it. So I'm going to put that ugly part hidden inside. I'm going to kind of get it to the shape I cut. There we go. And let's smush that down. Now if you do get glue on your black paper and you're worried it's going to show, or any paper, you can take, where's my wipey? Where's my wipey? I just had it. Nonsense. Okay, let me get another wipey. Wipey, and just rub it around. It's just paper. It usually comes off, and when it dries, you really won't see it. So let's try to get that down there as much as we can. Okay. Let's lift it. Okay, so the glue did seem to seep through a bit still, even if I smushed it around and tried to keep away from the holes. It did smush through, but it's not terribly ugly. But you see how the paper's warped with the Elmer's glue? But that's all right. It will dry and it'll look better. It's just an envelope, so it's not like it's going to be a cover or something that's going to be highly viewable. It's an envelope, so it'll be fine. And this is going to be the inside of the envelope, so let's not fret too much. Now, if you have any edges that are terribly flapping about, you can glue those down. If they're driving you nuts or you have concern. Doily is just weird to glue. I'll worry about those later because I'm not gonna, I'll see where they end up. So now comes to the folding part. Oh no, next ink. Ink before folding. I folded first and I missed my inking, so that's what I'm gonna do next is ink the edges. Now because it is doily, it's very flimsy, so inking is a little annoying. It's like inking lined paper. But I want the edges inked because it highlights the curves of the doily wherever they're folded into. I'm trying to move fast as possible so I can get all 3 of these envelopes done in a timely manner. And I'm only making 2 of each because they're going to go in the Morticia book, and I don't want to, you know, mass make a bunch for other projects. These are just for Morticia. Maybe I will one day, but right now I want to get that book done so that I can move on to my next project. I'm trying not to start other projects until that one is finished. I've got 2 projects going on right now. No, probably more than that, actually. And I'm trying to be a more committed, finished person. I want to have things done. I don't want to have a bunch of works in progress all over the place. I have a terrible habit of doing that. I get so excited about something new I see. I'm like, oh, I want to make that. And I start it, and then the last thing I was working on gets left in the dust. Bye, little project that I loved last month, but not this month. That's not nice. Everything should be finished to continuation. You know, unless like I really like hate it or something, like, you know what, that was terrible. It's not coming out great. It looks weird, and then I just scrap it. But usually I don't do that because I don't like to waste materials. I rarely ever do that. So let's see. Now we're going to do folding. So what did we do with the folding? So I folded an inch in on each side because we need a big enough gap here. So I put an inch in on each side. So I'm just going to eyeball that. Let's see, about an inch in on each side. There we go. And I'm going to line it up there because it's a circle. So I'm going to make sure that, you know, they're not straight. I don't want the angle coming off sideways. Okay, so I'm going to slide it down a bit because I want more of an edge. There we go. And let's see, make sure those are straightish. I'm just checking with my lines here to make sure they're straight. Pretty apparent this one's a little bit. There we go. Okay. Okay, and this one, oh, this one needs to go a little bit further in. No, wait, that's a little bit farther out. My bad. Wrong direction. Okay, so now that we have decided that we're folded straight, we have enough big gap in the middle, I'm going to come along with my bone folder and make sure those creases are creased well. Bone folder. And I can't push too hard because the doily will tear. Doilies are frustrating to work with. They're super cute, but a little frustrating. Oh, there's my other wipey. Okay, now we have 2 wipies. Okay. Make sure our fingers are good. Okay, and then we got the sides in. Now for the top and the bottom. Envelope should overlap barely. So kind of in the middle with the top overlapping. So they should overlap in the middle about, what, half an inch to an inch. So let's see. That's the middle. I'm not going to commit fully yet. Just kind of a partial fold. Let's keep these lines here lined up. That way I can see. Circles are a little bit hard to fold that way too because you think it's straight, but folding straight lines on a round thing is a little bit awkward. Okay, that looks good. Now let's see here. Okay, that's good there. Okay, I think that looks great. We made the fold, so folded in the center. They're overlapped a bit. The top one over the top over the bottom, and so I'm going to press these folds so that we're committed. Okay, and this top fold, I'm going to commit there also. Alrighty. And then we're going to worry about gluing the bottom here. So, and also, see with the last one, I didn't line it, so when I was gluing these corners in, it was such a nightmare not to glue the doily to the back of the card. But now that we're lined, we don't have to worry about that. We're just gluing card to the card, and the inside is going to be open. So let's glue that first, and then we'll deal with these corners up here. So, no, I'm not going to use Elmer's glue because these corners are going to have some, what do you call it, stress on them. Oh, my fabric fix is not ready yet. I usually throw it down horizontally so it has time to, it's always loaded here at the top. Now I gotta wait. It's taking its time. So while it's doing that, let's address the top. Which was the top? Is that the top? Yeah, okay. So these I want to cut. Reason being is when you open it, it's glued and you're going to be stuffing stuff in, like they're still connected to the top. So I want there to be a little bit disconnection. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do there with a marker. So I'm going to cut here. You can't see that well. Marker, something that's going to write. Oh man, I got a jar full of pens. You can't see any of them. Hot pink? Can you see hot pink? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to cut right here to release that. Glue this part down. But I'm also going to cut this a bit like that. Like cut out a little tiny sliver of a triangle just so there's room to slide things in and out of and things are more secure. So I'm going to get my precision scissors because they're smaller. So cut along the fold. And then cut this triangle here. Oh, and what I did is I flipped these out last time. That's what I did. I flipped them out and cut these off completely. Okay. That's what I did. There. Maybe instead of cutting the triangle in like that, maybe I'll cut it down. I think that makes more sense, cutting it down this way. Trying to cut off that pink line I drew now. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, let's do the same over here. Releasing that. Okay, pulling that back, cutting that off, and then we decided to come in this way, about that much. To make our envelope easier to use. Small little things that I'm sure nobody will notice, but when you're using something, it helps that it just kind of works right. Okay, there, perfect. So it scraps down. Let me just re-ink these edges before I go on gluing. Okay, so down here, I learned when making envelopes, when watching people and doing this myself, when you glue envelopes, glue the part that's going down. Because you don't want to put glue here and try to match it up, so you know where this is going to hit. So, and then don't put glue where the doily holes are, just where the cardstock is. I can see it through the doily. You can, I can. Okay. Folding closed. Pushing and making sure I got, oops, this is popping out a bit, which I don't care for. So I'm going to put glue. I can see where it's not attached here. There we go. I have to trim that off when we're done. I'll do that later. On this side, that side's pretty well attached. I'm going to add a little bit more glue. There we go. Okay. Side's attached. Trimming back side. So we have a little bit of overfold. I'm going to trim that off. And that side looks good. All right, and that looks like the front of our envelope good. I'm wondering if I should attach a little bit here. Gosh, it's so, still feels flimsy, but yeah, I'm gonna attach it up here too, because this needs to be filled more secure. So, glue along this side. See if I can show, but I'm paying attention to where it stops there, where the cardstock is, so there. Down. And then over here, where the cardstock is, and here where the cardstock is. Okay, down. Now I'm going to quickly make sure I did not glue anything on the inside by checking with my Staples card. No, we are released. We are released. Oh, good, good, good. Okay, good. So the edges of the doily are a little bit loose, a little bit flappy around, but the general construction of it is good. Okay, so it will get a little roughed up, which is kind of fun around the edges. All right, there we go. Envelope is constructed. Okay, now on the top, oops, I forgot to ink the top edge. Sides. going to do a heavy black and white contrast here. Okay, now these edges aren't as black as I like them. I'm going to go a little bit more pinky on the edges. They're barely black. I want them very black. There we go. Lovely. Now to decorate this, I did something super simple but really pretty. I just added a lace bow there. So how I did that was, I just need a strip of this. I have so much black lace. I got it at a not really a yard sale. Well, there's this little mountain town near here. Not even the mountain, almost to the mountains. It's called Snelling. It's like an old timey town that's near here. And once a year, the town does like a garage sale, like a yard sale day. And so everybody in the little town has stuff out. The yard sale, you know, they put out for sale. And it's more easy for me to do that way than hunting around all, town looking for a yard sale here and there. They just have it all set up for you. So I love going to that. Well, anyways, this lady had this lace and it was rolled. I mean, just a bolt of it. I don't know how many yards. I think I counted like 25 yards. It was crazy. I took it out of my whole house and rolled it all out just to count it and re-rolled it because it was really messy. It was 25 yards. She sold me the whole thing for $5. $5. Score. So to make this bow, I'm going to use string and a little bit of thread. I just sew it quickly. This is my needle book. It has all my needles in it whenever I do embroidery, hand sewing, beading, different things. All my needles there. If you don't hand sew, don't worry. This is super easy. Or you could do any kind of bow you want, any kind of bow. Look, I still have these ones, but they were just too tiny. I wanted something more significant. But this bow is easy. You could give it a try. Okay, so threaded. Knot. Okay, trim the ends a bit. So bow, 2 ends cross like that. And don't worry too much about the bow top. It's more important to keep the legs symmetrical. So once the legs are symmetrical, you pinch and keep pinched right there at the center. The needle goes through the center, straight up. And keep the tension on the strings kind of tight. And then pull it through, but before it goes all the way through, you want to slip it through, catch the knot, see, so you're making a loop, and then pull that through. That way your string is attached to the bow. So that's one. You only need 3 knots to make this bow, so that's 1 knot. I'm going to spread my fingers so I can hold it better. Pull tight, and then you're going to go around, make 1 knot. There, squeeze in the middle, and then go through the middle again to sew a 2nd knot, or the 3rd knot. So first knot hooks the thread together, 2nd knot squeezes the bow together, and the 3rd knot ties it again. All right, there we go. Ta-da! Bow. Okay, needle back away. Take the string off. To make sure I throw my threads away because my cats will eat them, and my mom says strings could get caught in cats' intestines and be bad for them, so throw those away. Okay, so now let's check our size of the bow. Pretty chunky. And cut the legs just a smidge. Let's see, this leg's kind of funky. Which way do you want to lay? That way? This way? Okay, that way. Come on, leg. Oh, well. There. And then some fabric tack. Let's see, we're going to center that. So do some glue for the arms, a little glue for the legs. I have to close that fabric tack every time because it like volcanoes out. It doesn't like leak. I don't know if it's the pressure from me squeezing the bottle. It just like keeps gooing out. And it doesn't spill or anything. It just like makes a big like blobbity bubble. Kind of like hot glue gun when you leave it on. Okay. There we go. Doily envelope with a bow. Whee! Blah, blah, blah. Done. What time are we at? 30 minutes? Oh no. This is gonna wait way too long. Okay, next is lace lined envelope. So this needs a piece of paper, a piece of lace. Maybe I'll explain less. Yeah, let's explain less. Let's just do. So I'm just going to tear off this plasticky stuff. Lining it up so it makes a straight tear. Oh, you know, I'm not supposed to. Oh, silly girl. Doing, not saying. Go and tear. Plasticky bit off. Next plasticky bit off. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the last envelope right now. I might have to come back and record it later because I have a few things I have to go do today. I have to pick up my son from school and I have an appointment. Okay, there we go. So then let's do some folds. So envelope, fold. So the bottom should be a little bit longer than the top, and then I also want a bit of a gap when it comes down so that there's movement to open and close the envelope. Let's see how that looks for now. Is that similar? Yep, that's about right on. Okay. Looks good. So let's crease those well. I need to see the creases very well because I'm going to cut a piece of lace for this, but I have to glue it a specific way. So let's see, lace, let's cut a piece big enough. I want this little pretty edge at the bottom of the envelope, like that. I want it hanging out the flap. It doesn't matter, but that's what I like. So lace on. Hanging out. Let's get it flat enough to cut. We can trim it up precisely later. Right now, I just want a general cut. Cut. Okay, you might see my hair for a moment. Apologies. My hair's done. It's just tied back. I have funny curly doll hair. People always ask me if that's my hair when I go out. Every single time. If I go out 10 times, 9 times out of 10, somebody asks me, is that your hair? I'm getting so sick of that. I told my husband, I do not know what to say anything. I wish I had something like funny to say. Like, is that your hair? I'm going to put fabric tack in the creases to keep my lace from traveling. And I'm going to sew around this because I don't want to use a bunch of glue on this lace. It's just, you can't use glue and lace together. It doesn't mix very well. So just right now, I'm putting it in the crease and smashing it down to keep it from migrating inside the envelope and while I sew around it. Okay, so that is good there. And then I'm going to, sorry, it's getting the glue off my finger. It's silicone-based glue, so it rubs off. It's a little bit of pressure, it rubs right off. And then in this crease, let's see, you can't see in the shadow. There we go. Glue on there? Barely. That'll be enough to hold it. Okay. And then pat, 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 pat. Oops. Too much glue on my finger. There we go. That's down. Now I'm going to put some glue stick on the edges just to keep it down while I sew. Flip back just to keep it down while I sew. And all the overhang I'll trim off later. Oh, you know what? Forgot one step. Forgot to trim these little, you know, the envelope flap part, but I didn't want a pointy flap. I made a wide flap, which I'm going to do the same thing here. Grab a pencil. Let me kind of center it here between two lines. Oh, it's perfectly width. So let's see, how many inches is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3 and a half. So that's center. So let's just do 2 inches in there, 2 inches in there, and then to the corner. And we'll cut that. And I'll take to the sky on a natural high, loving you more till the day I die. Take to the sky on a natural high, loving you. Okay, here we go. Cutting. Okay. Now let me tack that down a little better. Okay, I'm going to sew now. So you're going to hear my sewing machine. It is a bit loud. You may want to turn your volume down if you want to watch me sew. We're going to use a zigzag stitch, and I'm going to actually sew the envelope closed, so we do need to cut the lace. I'm going to trim the lace now. I can trim it up later. I can trim it up after I sew it too, and we'll trim it after we sew. So I'm going to sew the envelope shut and all the way around the edges. Oh, yeah, we'll ink later too. Here we go. Turn down your volume. so there it's sewn on the edges, and then around the top. That's the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to trim up this lace. Oh, got a snarl there. Okay, lace is trimmed there. And then I did cut a little circle. Where'd the original one go? There it is. I cut a little circle here because I felt like this was just kind of high. I wanted a little bit more ease of getting in and out of the envelope. So what did I use? Oh yeah, my Mod Podge jar. So I just kind of centered it in the center of the envelope here. Decided how far I wanted the semicircle to go down. That looks good. Then I traced it with a pencil. Oops. Come on. Not too hard so I could erase it if I needed to. And then we got our scissor and we cut it out. Normally if I was going to make a hole like that for them to get stuff out of, I would use my hole punch, but can't hole punch the lace. This seems a little high. I feel like doing this. There, yeah. That makes me feel better. There we go. Okay, and now I'm going to ink away. Inky, inky, inky. And then these, yes. Now we're getting the mood on here. I like my corners dark. Okay, now the outside flap on the back. Pull the lace down so we can hit that paper edge. Lace back up. I can still feel the glue stick is still tacky under the lace because we're moving a little fast. That's all right. Might have time for the third one. I gotta check my clock. And then the top flap. Do a pounce on this one so it's not so severe. Alrighty, I don't have any more ink here. The flap needs a little bit more wear on it. Okay, good. Okay, and then to decorate, I used a piece of that black rose lace, and I have these lace. Cool, look at that. Got a piece of that from Rebecca in one of my fabric bundles. So let me get a scrap on that lace. Oh, here's a piece. So scrap of this. And so I cut it kind of like little bit funky. See, we did like that. We did like a long hexagon looking thing. There we go. Okay. And then I glue sticked that on because it's lace and there's not much ways to get lace on other than sewing and messy glue, but this is going to have a skull over it, so the skull's going to help hold it down. Is that kind of centered? Good enough. I think, actually, I feel like that's a little bit too big. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that little sliver made me feel better. There. And then let's pick a skull. Is that the right size? Yep, that's our guy. Cut. Cut. I don't know what that is. Cut. 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 Okay. And we're going to fabric-tack him down. Which side's the front? Which side's the back? That's fun. Okay. Going around the edges here. Go, and then down the forehead and the nose should do it. Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. He's trying to escape. Alrighty, and flip over, and yeah, we'll put you that way. You feel like you're a right-sided guy. Okay, and that is lace envelope. Ta-da, done. That's 2 of those. And then the last one, how much time are we at? 48 minutes. Oh, that only took us 15, took us 17 minutes. Yay, we're doing good. Last one. We need, we're doing this. So that is going to be, I have everything pre-cut here. We will need a piece of fabric. I chose, this one's like a smooth satin, this one's a textured satin. Then I have these 2 pieces I chose, and those were cut from those appliques I got in my haul last week. I just cut out the pieces I wanted. We'll need a piece of interfacing, that is to make it thicker. It's a type of fabric you heat iron onto another piece of fabric, which gives it stability. They usually put it in shirt cuffs, shirt collars, things in pieces of fabric that you want it to stand a little bit stiffer. That's what it's for. And I bought it. It comes in sheets folded, or I bought this roll on Amazon for $9.99. I use it a lot in my sewing when I sew like other clothes and, you know, tote bags and stuff like that. I need stabilizer. But I'm using this now, and it's very ugly, so we have a way to make it cute. Look, see? Ooh, it looks like a paper towel, but we stenciled it. Nice. So we need that, this. We've got appliques. Our pearl and bead we'll get to. A little pearl and bead dangle here. See that? Look at, oh, dangles. And our lace, we'll get to that. And then what else do we need? Our stickles. See the little silver glitter on there? That's called stickles. You can use any glitter glue, but I got this one for $1. Stickles, where's the camera? There it is. Stickles. Okay. And I think that's it. All right. Oh, and a stencil and ink. Stencil back there. So first, putting this on there. This is my wool mat I use for ironing, so I don't melt anything. It also makes things really flat. So which side is the wrong side? That's the wrong side. So I'm going to press this to make it flat. Here's my little iron waiting on the side. Oh, you know what? I have it on the wrong setting for that, so I'm going to use a pressing cloth real quick. Anything that's delicate that I need to iron, I put a piece of linen or cotton over it so that the iron doesn't scald it. If you ever notice, I don't know, people don't really iron much, but if you ever iron something and you start seeing like your fabric turning shiny and it like doesn't go away, that means you've burned your fabric. The iron was too hot and the fibers of your fabric have melted or burned. If it's a natural fabric, if it's polyester, it usually burns. So there, that's ironed flat now. Yeah, that's making sure I got the sides right. So now I've already cut this to the proper side. So this is my stabilizer. One side is smooth like paper and the other side has little dots on it, like it's glue. They're little tiny dots. So you want your glue dots down. And then lining it up so that we don't get glue on my wool mat. If I do, oh well. That's what wool mats are for ironing. So then pressing cloth on. And I spray it with water because when the iron hits the water, it makes steam. And to me, that makes the whole process work a little bit faster because it's steam and heat. So I feel like that initiates the glue better. And I do the corners and the edges kind of first along the top so there's no shifting. I'm supposed to hold it down for 10 to 15 seconds. I hold it down for however long I feel like it. I check it. See if that glue, see that took, it's not lifting, it took. And this is not iron. There's a difference between ironing and pressing. So when you iron, your iron's on, you spray water, starch, and you iron your shirt to get the wrinkles out. This is pressing. You press your seams and sewing, and you press on this. So I'm not running my iron around. I'm using the heat to cause an effect. So when you press seams after you sew, it's so that the heat sets the thread and the fold in the seam more permanently. This we are pressing to make sure our stabilizer adheres to our fabric. If you don't have stabilizer and you want to do this, you could also glue a piece of paper to the back of your fabric. People put fabric on paper all the time. This will do the exact same thing. Except, you'll just have to watch for, glue seepage through your fabric, which is easily avoidable if you just spread your glue thin. Or use a silicone-based glue or like a spray can glue. There's all kinds of ways. Okay, now let's see. Yep, I think we're adhered. Yep, looks good. So I'm going to give it a sec to cool. Put this away. Alright, so now I'm going to trim off the extra white bits. I don't want that showing through our envelope. This seems like a lot of work for an envelope, and it is. You could just use a paper. Why don't you just use a paper envelope, Vicki? Why do you got to do all that? You know why I do all this? Because it makes me happy, because I think it's ridiculously gorgeous. Yeah, you don't need a satin envelope covered in, applique with pearl dangles. No, you don't need that. But you know what? You want to look at it. You want to touch it. You want to use it. It's art. Not recreating staples here. I am creating whatever the heck I want to in my mind that I want to look at in real life. This is what I want to look at. So yes, this is not the quickest, easiest envelope to make, but it's going to look darn good. Darn good. Okay, so let's see. We got that cut. Now we're going to fold our envelope size. The other piece of fabric was a little bit bigger, and so I wanted a pointy flap there. Put that there for reference. And so I'm going to, I think this edge is straighter, so I'm going to do that. And then I want a little bit of a pointy flap. So we'll do, and then leave a little gap in between. I think that looks right. Let's see there. How's that look? Yep, that looks good to me. So now that that's there, I'm going to just pick it up, make sure it looks all right on the inside. Yeah, it does. Now I need to press this again. Just check my lines here, make sure it's straight. Square. That's square, that's square. This is not straight. There. Okay, we're square. So I gotta get my pressing cloth here. I'm not gonna drag my wool mat back over here. I don't want to melt my mat, so I'm gonna have to do this carefully. I might regret this. Don't melt, craft mat. Don't melt, okay? Oh, it lifted. It didn't like that. It's bulging. I apologize. I apologize. My bad. I am so sorry. Won't ever happen again. Okay, so that's pressed. Next, we are going to stencil the ugly inside. Look at that. Who wants to look at that nonsense? Oh, wait, I gotta cut the flap first because I did it last time. So we're going to triangle cut that. So we gotta get the center-ish. So we're gonna center it between a couple of lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3.5. There's our center. There's a corner there. There's a corner there. I'm actually going to leave a little bit of gap there. I want a little bit of overhang on the straight edge. There we go. So center to second line. Draw. Center to second line. A little bit lower. Go and draw. Cut. Cut. There we go. Check my camera. Make sure we're still recording. 58 minutes. Getting longish. And stencil. Where's that stencil? I used this one before, so we'll just use it again. Okay, there we go. Stencil on. And then we'll take our ink. We just rub it all about. This interfacing takes ink well, thank goodness. Better than paper, I think. It just soaks it right up. I would put it darker, but we're in a hurry. So we're going to have light stenciling today. A light gray stencil for the inside. I even considered gluing another piece of paper over the stabilizer, but the stabilizer made it stiff enough, and I didn't want to add another ridiculous step in. You know, if no one was watching me, I would do it. But I mean, don't want to look too crazy, right? No. Okay, I should do it. Next time I'll do it. But I think this looks okay. If anybody thinks the stabilizer and stenciling looks like a fancy paper towel, you can tell me. But, no, Vicky, you know what? You weren't hiding anything. It's pretty weird. And it looks pretty junky. Please feel free to say so. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I don't have to like it, but you can say what you want. Go ahead. Say it. I am a tolerant person. We don't have to think the same, believe the same, have the same feelings. It's cool, man. I still love you. All right, there we go. That's pretty good. All right, let's move it on. Next is, oh wait, no, I gotta clean my fingers. I can feel them all sticky. Okay. So after that, we are going to sew the pockets down. And I'm not going to sew around the flap like I did the last one. That was more for decoration, the sewing on the flap. This is just sewing for the pocket construction. So I'm going to do that quickly, and then we will start doing the decorations. So machine over again. Plug your ears. I'll give you a heads up when the machine goes on. Okay, so folding over. And then didn't zigzag all the way around, did I? No. Nope, just the back. Okay, just the sides. Make sure we're lined up. I don't want any white showing. There we go. And needle down. Back stitch. And forward. Okay, and back stitch. Forward stitch. That locks it all together. And then we're going to do the other side. Go down. There? Yeah, I think we're there. And then back up and forward and cut. Alrighty. Thank you, machine. Go back to sleep. Let's make sure we're still in the frame. Yes. I'm going to cut these threads off here. And then a little trim. And then I noticed on the back, one side was a little wonky. Oh yeah, this side doesn't look good. I'm going to just trim that extra white off. Just so we don't have our ugly stabilizer showing. I know it's ugly, okay? I know it's ugly. All right, there we go. All right, I'll show you the stitching. And there it is inside. Ooh. All right, decorate time. Oh, no, changed my mind. We need more inking. Because the inside flap. Where's my newspaper? Oh, there it is. This, concerned about this little white bits here. I don't like that. And then, also, yeah, the sewing here keeps that from happening. That will eventually come to an end because it'll hit the seam and stop. Actually, the stabilizer stops it too. Once it hits the glue of the stabilizer, it stops. So I'm just gonna go over here and do this on this edges. I did it on here too. Just made it a little bit darker. Alrighty then. Next, we are doing decorations. Fabri-Tac, leaves and flowers, pearls and beads. I'll need my needle book again. And alright, let's get through this here quickly as possible. So this is the lace I used to decorate the edges. Show it to you close up there. Pretty, huh? So here's what it looks like close. I didn't know if I showed you this close up. Here. And you got your little dangle there. I used to just kind of weight the pocket down. So let's get decorating. So which is the top and the bottom? So it's a little bit hard to tell on these laces sometimes. But the top has more dimension. The back is usually pretty flat. So I just put glue. Are we loaded? Yeah, we're loaded. About 1/4 inch from the edge. Okay, there we go. A pretty significant bead because the lace is a bit wide and the flowers are a bit heavy, so I'll need a significant amount of weight on there. So then I'm just going to lay that there on that edge and walk along, tapping, 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 tapping. When we get to this edge, we're going to snip. Don't worry about all these little funky ends once we're done. So then here we go, more, 1/4 inch. And I put a little here to overlap that. I'm gonna overlap that. Oops, I feel my hair touching the phone. Oh my gosh, is my hair like just all up in the camera? My apologies if my hair is in front of the camera. I have it tied back. Oh, my glue dragged everywhere. Okay, there's a way to fix that later. Don't worry about it now. So I'll put that edge there. And walk, 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 walk. Overlap and cut. Okay, then the insides. There is weird noises coming over here from my right side, and I don't see nothing over there should be making noises. I hear noises. It's weird. There we go. What is that? I don't know. Let me put those later. Last deco edge. Let's see. You are. Okay. Now I'm going to take my precision scissors and then tidy up those little lace edges because you'll notice there's like dangly strings that got released. So tidy those up. If I can. There we go. And here. Tidy that up. Right there. Let's see, over here, tidy that up. And that one. This one's flopping about. This one. And that one seems fine. Okay. Those are nice. Now let's work on the appliques on top. Pin this back around. I try to lay this flat because if I don't lay it flat and nicely, when I take it off next time, the roses and the little lace edge will be wrinkled. Must take care of our things. Take care of our things, children. I am a mom. It comes natural, sorry. There we go. All right, appliques. So this one goes here. Oh, it's reversed. Huh. Must have been from the left side of the lapel applique. Okay. Oh, look, it barely fits. This flap is smaller than the last flap. No worries. And let me get my tweezers, because when I pick this up, it's going to be a mess. Am I still in frame? Yep. Let's move a smidge up. So here I'm just putting glue where there is no empty space on solid spaces, because this is like lace, this applique. We want the sides down, but we don't want glue seeping out onto our fabric. You'll probably see those little glue lines. I'm not sure how well my camera picks that up, but this silicone glue, this fabric fix, it leaves glue lines like hot glue sometimes. You know, when you pull the glue gun away and you have all them strings, the fabric fix does that. But if I don't touch them and let them dry, then I can come back like a minute or two later and just pluck them off with my tweezers. So I try to ignore them initially, because if I try to grab them wet, they'll like keep pulling and touching other stuff, and they'll smear and they get stuck everywhere. So just leave it alone. All right, tweezers, bloop, flip. All right, let's see here, and we're going to let's see, right there. We need it all on the flap though. This is kind of one shot. You can't drag it around like on paper, because it will ruin the fabric with all the glue. There, good. What is that noise? Nothing, it's your mind slipping. Okay. See the little glue strings? See them? No, you probably can't see them. All right, leaves. Let's see, face down and face down. Oh, this one's narrower but wider. Oh, it's, you know, whatever piece of fabric you use. I didn't measure anything. I just pulled out, you know, scraps that I had. So, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I just knew I wanted the envelope to be like a decent size where I could put, you know, a folded piece of paper in, or maybe a card or something like that. All right, let's put these in the corners for our corners. Lovely. This is so cute. Like if it was like had a handle and was more durable, it could be like a little handbag. So cute. Morticia envelope. Maybe overdone for Morticia, but you know what? I think she'd like it. All right. There. Ta-da! Okay. Next, we're going to put on the pearl, because we can't do this. Once the stickle's gone, can't do anything because you have to wait for it to dry. So pearl on. Pearl needs one pearl and a seed bead. I got this box of pearls from, I don't know, By and Large, I think. By and Large, your very best friend. You know, the guy's putting everybody out of business. There you go. And then we need a seed bead. Oh, seed beads, also from By and Large. I'll just put a couple. I only need one, but I might lose them. So there's a couple. Then we need a beading needle. Beading needle is a needle that is so thin it will go through the eye of the bead and the pearl. Where's my string? A little bit harder to thread for people because the eye's so small. But not me. I can see up close. But if you're standing 6 feet away from me, I can't see you. I don't know who you are. But up close, I can see like a surgeon. Yeah, no problem. I wear glasses. usually. Is the knot made? Yeah, the knot's made. Trim the knot. All right. Now, before we put our bead and pearl on, I'm going to attach the, I'll do this close up. I'm going to attach the needle to the fabric first. So pull it through, slip it through the loop, so that I catch the knot. The knot is caught, it's there. Then I'm going to do it again and make a knot so that we want this very well secured. If the bead gets pulled on, I want the thread to break. Oops, lost the tension. Got a loop. There, okay, so that's two loops. Now I'm going to attach the pearl. Boop, and then pick up a seed bead. Oh, that one did not go over the eye of the needle. Every once in a while you get a weird one that won't fit. Let's try this one. That's really why I got a couple, because I thought that might happen. Okay, that one fit. So we have a seed bead at the end of the pearl. Where is my camera? There. I'm going to stand up so I can see. So bead on, pearl on. And then what I do next is I skip the seed bead and go back through the pearl and come out. And what that does is it'll allow the seed bead to lock the pearl in. See? The seed bead is, come on camera, there you go. The seed bead is holding the pearl on. It won't fall through that. It's too big. Like blocks the hole. Okay, so now that that's done, I will finish sewing it on. Put it at the right dangly length. Not sure if that made any sense or was even you're able to see that, but you know what? That's how I do it, explaining my creative processes. Sorry if it's hard to understand. This little pearl is so annoying. It keeps wiggling all over. Stay there. Stay. Stay. Okay, good. I'm just going to pass through a couple more times and do a couple more of those knots I already made. Do two more. And the reason why I make a couple of knots is because if like the thread breaks, if one of the threads breaks somewhere, like say it gets caught and snagged, there's several knots in the fabric holding whatever it is on. So even if a thread breaks somewhere, there's still a couple of knots holding it on somewhere. So it'll keep it more secure. So there, dangly dingly, on. Put needle away, string in the trash. Beading needle, back page. Okay, let me check the time because I have to pick up my son. Nope, we got time. Okay. Last part is the stickles. Get these little glue strings off. They drive me nuts. Nobody can see them. They're just figments of my imagination. Okay, there. Stickle time. Stickles has a very fine point, which is awesome to craft with. Like, you can draw with this. It's nice. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So I did the leaves. Just did a small line for the leaves. Just kind of did that all the way on all of them. When I'm using stickles and this glitter glue, you kind of have to be conscious, kind of like when you're painting, you can't pass over your work because it's wet. Like if you got paint and you come over and like rub your hand, well, you know, you're working above or below it, you got to be conscious of that. The stickle. So this rose, I'm going to work see, I did middle, second, and third. Okay, so let's do third, middle, second, and third. Yeah, here. rubbing into the grooves there, kind of highlighting those bigger leaves. There we go. And then back around. Okay. And then when I do this row, I just did one big swirl. I think we just followed the edge. Just highlighting its natural grace. Okay, missed a bit there, okay. And then we'll work this way. Boop. Boop. Oh man, I just got super quiet. I totally forgot I was like recording. I'm like thinking about a bunch of random stuff. My bad. Okay, there, all stickled. Woohoo! Okay, that's our second one. I'll show you the stickles up close. That is our overly done, overly decorated Morticia fabric envelope. We thank you for being with us here at Black Lace Roses, where we believe more is more, and we are maximalists. So that's how we do it. Appreciate the views, whoever you are. I hope you try some paper crafting, or at least when you're out thrifting, buy black stuff. Have a great day. Goodbye.